آمين. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما تعلمنا وزدنا بفضلك علما وتعليما إنك على كل شيء قدير. وعن أبي ذر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما يرويه الضمير is dropped عن الله تبارك وتعالى أنه قال يا عبادي إني حرمت الظلم على نفسي وجعلته بينكم محرما فلا تظالموا أي فلا تتظالموا. The ta is dropped. يا عبادي كلكم ضال إلا من هديته فاستهدوني أهدكم. يا عبادي كلكم جائع إلا من أطعمته فاستطعموني أطعمكم. يا عبادي كلكم عار إلا من كسوت فاستكسوني أكسكم. يا عبادي إنكم تخطئون بالليل والنهار وأنا أغفر الذنوب جميعا فاستغفروني أغفر لكم. يا عبادي إنكم لم تبلغوا ضري وضري ضر وضر فتضروني ولن تبلغوا نفعي فتنفعوني. Right? What does that even mean? You will not be able to reach my harming such that you should harm me. You can't actually harm me. Right? That's how you phrase it. It's not actually possible for you to actually harm me or to actually benefit me. Right? You can't help Allah. Right? It's not actually possible. You can't benefit Allah. You can't do anything for Allah. You're always just doing something for yourself. ولن تبلغوا نفعي فتنفعوني لو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم كانوا على أتقى قلب رجل واحد منكم ما زاد ذلك في ملكي شيئا. يا عبادي لو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم كانوا على أفجر قلب رجل واحد منكم ما نقص ذلك من ملكي شيئا. يا عبادي لو أن أولكم وآخركم وإنسكم وجنكم قاموا في صعيد واحد فسألوني فأعطيت كل إنسان مسألته ما نقص ذلك مما عندي إلا كما ينقص المخيط a needle إذا أدخل البحر. Right, through hydrogen tension, whatever it's called. You put water tension, whatever it's called. You put a needle on top of the sea, and the sea, the water touches the needle and it goes up a little bit. So there's this tiny amount of water that's coming up, like so on the needle. Right? What did that? It's a negligible, insignificant decrease to the ocean. يا عبادي إنما هي أعمالكم أحصيها عليكم ثم أوفيكم إياها فمن وجد خيرا فليحمد الله ومن وجد غير ذلك فلا يلومن إلا نفسه. So nobody can benefit you, nobody can harm you. It's just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the opportunity to benefit yourself or harm yourself. It's up to you. Allah doesn't need us, we need Him in every single thing. What is righteousness? Righteousness is not good people. Righteousness is people who know how bad they are and how desperately they need Allah to protect them. Right? So a righteous person, for example, who doesn't fear pedophilia or doesn't fear I don't know, bestiality, or doesn't fear what's it called? What's the psychological disease where people steal things? It's called kleptomania, right? So you woke up in the morning and you didn't ask Allah to protect you from stealing. That means you don't understand, right? You woke up in the morning, you didn't ask Allah to protect you from liver cancer. You don't understand, right? So total iftiqar asli, right? And it's interesting. The harf, right? In Nahu, the harf, right, means on the edge, right? The word harf and the dalala of the harf is very much like our existence in many ways, right? We're on an edge. It's like a contingency. It's possible, right? Just like we're hadith, the harf is on the edge, right? It kind of exists, kind of doesn't exist. Its dalala is through other words, not through itself. And it's mabni, right? So it has no action, right? Whereas the ism is mu'rab. It has no haraka, has no action, right? So we like that. We're and we have iftiqar asli, right? So a noun will become mabni if it has iftiqar asli, right? Like it's like the word man. Like it doesn't really indicate its meaning without some other words. هذا doesn't really mean it doesn't really indicate anything without referring to something. هو doesn't really indicate meaning without context, etc. So it's kind of like on the edge. So the harf is like that. It has iftiqar asli, like existential poverty, right? So that's the righteous person, the person who appreciates and recognizes his absolute need before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And obviously that makes him humble, right? So it's not possible to be a proud, righteous person. You know, I hate shuyukh, they're so proud. Well, that means they're not a sheikh, period. Right? وعن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان في بني إسرائيل رجل قتل 99 إنسانا ثم خرج يسأل فأتى راهبا فسأله فقال أله توبة قال لا فقتله فجعل يسأل قال رجل إيتي قرية كذا وكذا فأدركه الموت فناء بصدره, right? ناء, to stick it out. The ba is for ta'diyah, right? Na'a fulan ba'uda. Na'a bihi ab'ada. Right? نحوها, in its direction. فاختصمت فيه ملائكة رحمتي وملائكة العذاب فأوحى الله إلى هذه أن تقر أن ت أن إلى هذه أن تقربي, that it be brought close. أن تقربي أن تقربي وإلى هذه أن تباعدي قال قيسوا ما بينهما فوجد إلى هذه أقرب بشبر فغفر له, right? So there's a number of things in it, right? Number one is we're talking about dua, right? So that's what we're talking about. Is istighfar possible? And he said, right? Um, um, so he said, so he made dua, he made tawbah, and he went to another place. So number one is active tawbah, right? You want to quit smoking, but you keep want to sit next to people who are smoking. You want to quit pornography, but you don't take the means to avoid a computer or those kind of things. You want to pray on time, you don't set an alarm clock. You don't change your surroundings, right? It's not real, right? That's number one. So that's that changing. And then the concept of taking every single means, right? So you think about the hadith, ittaqullaha walau bishiqqi tamra. It doesn't mean, give half a date. It means give every single thing you have plus half a date. That's what it means. Like take every single means plus any possible means that you could extra, right? Like do every single thing possible because it may be that last thing, that last extra push is the thing that saves you, as in the case of this man, right? وعن أبي هريرة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي نفسي بيده لو لم تذنبوا لذهب الله بكم ولجاء بقوم يذنبون فيستغفرون الله فيغفر لهم, right? So this is the similar kind of concept, Sheikh Hussein, to the, not quite the same, but the concept يغتفر في الدوام ما لا يغتفر في ابتداء, right? You don't, you don't go and sin. You're not like trying to sin, but things are like the big picture. I guess things are overlooked in sin is part of the big picture, but big picture, but not part of the small picture. Meaning you don't make a daily plan to sin, but it is part of your big picture. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And then there's obviously there's a number of benefits, right? So this person, right? This person, for example, who sins, do you think they really understand, this concept, right? Where is it? كلكم ضال إلا من هديته, right? So this person is not mutahaqqiq in that. That hasn't clicked. Like mentally it's clicked, but it hasn't clicked. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't feel desperate need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in guiding on all levels. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps him. He falls up in this way, he falls up in that way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens his eyes to different sins. Like, hey, you could actually fall into this sin. You could fall into that sin, right? Life, right? Like I had no idea I had an anger problem until I had kids, right? I didn't, that's not, it's not part of my repertoire of sins. It's not like things that I'm worried about, you know what I'm saying? So I would never be like, oh Allah, help me my anger problem. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you kids. Oh, it's different, right? It's different relationships, different opens doors that you don't know. People, I don't know, whatever it is. You don't know about your pride until you give them X, going to give them Y, whatever it is. Allah gives you these, shows you these different things. So sins are really important for showing you that you actually can't do this by yourself. You're not actually capable of guiding yourself. And if you haven't realized that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show you, right? Um, okay, and there's other benefits in it as well, right? وعن أبي موسى رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله يبسط يده بالليل يتوب مسيء النهار ويبسط يده بالنهار ليتوب مسيء الليل حتى تطلع الشمس من مغربها. Right? So that i.e. The option to repent is always there. So key concept. My sins are bigger than Allah's mercy. No, they're not. My deeds are bigger than Allah's punishment. No, it's not. My good deeds are better than Allah's punishment. No, it's not. Allahu Akbar. Right? So we say lots of things like Allahu Akbar, we don't really understand what that means. Right? So, they're just giving people that iman, like you can actually change. Well, how could I change? I'm a drug addict. I'm a prostitute. I'm a murderer. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a liar. I've ruined everything. Yeah, but you're ruining everything is not bigger than Allah. Right? That's a really big thing. Right? You're messing everything up on a total grand level is not bigger than Allah. Right? وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن العبد إذا اعترف ثم تاب الله عليه. خلاص. وعن أبي هريرة قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من تاب قبل أن تطلع الشمس من مغربها تاب الله عليه. وعن أنس قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لله أشد فرحا بتوبة عبده حين يتوب إليه من أحدكم كان راحلته بأرض فلات من نوى فانفلتت منه وعليها طعامه وشرابه فأيس منها. He gives up. You're never going to get it back. You're just going to die now. فأتى شجرة فاضطجع في ظلها قد يئس or أيس. Right? This is قلب مكاني. يئس أيس. Right? So like إجا فلان جاء فلان يا هلا. Sheikh Hussein, they say that in Lebanon, ya hala.
Yeah, sometimes they say yeah.
Yeah, so ya hala is in reality a real thing because you're saying ya ahlan. So you've moved the hamza from the beginning to the end. It's a real thing that happens in Fusha, right? And this is an example. Ya isa la tayasu min rawhillah. Ya isa becomes ayisa, right? Ri'm or reem, right? The name reem, the singular is ri'm. The plural should be ar'am, but it comes aram. So you actually move the hamza around, right? Uh, another example like that. Sar, right? You have sar and then si'an is the plural on part of fi'lan. Sar, si'an. You also have the plural is asar. So it should be aswa. Sa, aswa on the pattern af'ul. But you actually move the wow to the beginning and then it changes to an alif, so it becomes asor. So that's qalb makani. The letter has actually changed its position in the three-letter word, right? And that happens a lot with hamzas. قد أيس من راحلته فبينما هو كذلك إذ هو بها قائمة عنده فأخذ بخطامها, it rains, ثم قال من شدة الفرح اللهم أنت عبدي وأنا ربك أخطأ من شدة الفرح. Right. So he's so happy that he ended up saying something blasphemous, right? Obviously he doesn't leave Islam thereby, right? رواه مسلم. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن عبدي أذنب ذنبا فقال ربي أذنبت فاغفره فقال ربه أعلم عبدي أنه له ربا يغفر الذنب ويأخذ به غفرت yes غفرت لعبدي ثم مكث ما شاء الله ثم أذنب ذنبا فقال ربي أذنبت ذنبا فاغفره لي. فقال ربه علم عبدي أن له ربا يغفر الذنب ويأخذ به فغفرت لعبدي. ثم مكث ما شاء الله ثم أذنب ذنبا قال ربي أذنبت ذنبا آخر فاغفر لي. فقال علم عبدي أن له ربا يغفر الذنب ويأخذ به غفرت لعبدي فليفعل ما شاء. Get out of here, do whatever you want. Right? I really don't care. Go ahead. Right? I have no issues as long as you have the right attitude. I have no problem. Right? The issue is the attitude. Right? And then usually what? Usually the right attitude will result in a change. Right? So it means perhaps another sin or something else, but right. So وعن جندب رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حدث أن رجلا قال والله لا يغفر الله لفلان وأن الله تعالى قال من ذا الذي يتألى علي يحلف علي أني لا أغفر لفلان إني قد غفرت لفلان وأحبطت عملك. أو كما قال. I've squandered all of your deeds. Right? And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is he's not poor. He doesn't need to punish people and keep score, and he just forgives, and that's it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need to punish bad people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could reward, let's say, all the criminals in the world, forgive them and give a reward to all the people they wronged, right? Incommensurate with what they deserved. Why not? So, this whole issue of like it's very important to have, salamat al-sadr, right? If the people who've wronged you or people who've wronged you, they, have, goodwill towards them and really want good for them and believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it's not limited. There doesn't have to be a punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish people, but it doesn't, like, the person who's wronged you does not have to be punished. They can just be forgiven, right? And you'll benefit in both ways. أستغفر الله. أن تقول اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقت. Sorry, here this is عن شداد بن أوس رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيد الاستغفار أن تقول اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. قال ومن قالها من النهار موقنا بها فمات من يومه قبل أن يمسي فهو من أهل الجنة. ومن قالها من الليل أي this is من الظرفية during the night وهو موقن بها فمات قبل أن يصبح فهو من أهل الجنة. رواه البخاري. الفصل الثاني عن أنس قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الله تعالى يا ابن آدم إنك ما دعوتني ما مصدرية ظرفية as long as ورجوتني غفرت لك على ما كان فيك ولا أبالي. يا ابن آدم لو بلغت ذنوبك عنان, right, the clouds of the sky, ثم استغفرتني غفرت لك ولا أبالي. يا ابن آدم إنك لو لقيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا, right, the approximate volume / weight of the earth in sins. ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. رواه الترمذي. ورواه أحمد والدارمي عن أبي ذر والترمذي قال هذا حديث حسن غريب. Right. Um, so again, if it has the same chain, if it has the same chain or a slightly different chain, it could actually be a problem, right? So when it says Abu Dawud and Darimi narrated from Abu Dhar, that could be A, the Prophet said it more than once, or they were both there, and so they both narrated it, or B, one of the narrators mixed up Anas with Abu Dhar, right? So you have to look at the kind of the different chains there and see what's more likely, right? So similar information is sometimes supportive and sometimes contradictory, right? Like so it's is it similar enough to support or similar enough to suggest there's actually a mistake, right? وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الله تعالى من علم أني ذو قدرة على مغفرة الذنوب غفرت له ولا أبالي and I don't care ما لم يشرك بي شيئا رواه أي الإمام البغوي في شرح السنة. So it's not going to be صحيح.
Seen in the previous hadith when it says Hasanun Gharib, so the Gharib, so when you said that one of the narrators has probably mixed up, so the Gharaba here is referring to the Tafarrud and the Hasan is because it is generally a well-known hadith. Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
Tirmidhi is trying to say?
that would make sense. But the issue is, or what I'm trying to say is, and this is again, this applies to Imam Suyuti in his book on Mutawatir Hadith, right? That like some of these extra versions of hadiths are actually mistakes. They're not supportive. It's just mistakes. You know, so it
I
doesn't.
see.
It's not actually. That doesn't mean that there's more evidence. That other evidence is just mistakes. Somebody's made a mistake and they've accidentally created more data. That's all.
I see. But there's generally a principle that ziyada, if it's a sikha and it's a ziyada, I mean, that's what you're trying to get at, right? That doesn't, it's not like a universal principle. It's
What I'm trying to say is, if you look at the chain, like imagine, for example, the chain is exactly the same, and one person is quoting Sayyidina Anas, the other person is quoting Abu Dhar. We'd ask the question, how common is it for a hadith to be narrated from Abu Dhar and Anas?
got
Let's
it.
say Abu Huraira and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that happens quite a lot. Maybe they were together for many times. I don't know. It happens quite a lot. But other times you say, look, that's just a mistake. Somebody has made a mistake somewhere. Right? Um, وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال الله تعالى. We did that one. So we mentioned again, it's in Sharh al-Sunnah. By the mere fact that it's in Sharh al-Sunnah and only in Sharh al-Sunnah tells us the hadith is weak. Why? Because it's too late to be sahih, right? So we mentioned that many times, like a hadith, the madar of the hadith is like not known until well into the second century, third century, fourth century, fifth century, sixth century. It's not a sahih hadith, right? So a hadith is only found in like Al-Muhib al-Tabari in his something, what's it called? He has a book on Hajj, something Qira, something, I can't remember what it's called. He has like a book on Hajj where is Muhammad Tabari of the Shafi'is, and like he has a hadith, quotes a hadith of the chain, and that hadith not found anywhere else. It's not going to be sahih, or it's only in Tarikh Qazwin by Imam Rafi'i. Like it's not going to be sahih. No. So just the mere fact that it's only known in the third, fourth, fifth centuries, it's already that's even if you had thiqat, it's not it's too the it's too unknown and to be sahih. وعنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من لزم الاستغفار جعل الله له من كل ضيق مخرجا ومن كل هم فرجا ورزقه الله من حيث لا يحتسب. رواه أحمد وأبو داود وابن ماجه. وعن right? So what's the opposite of that? You're conceited, you're proud, and you're happy with the way things are, right? Totally happy, right? You are the tortoise, you are the hare. Sorry, just go to sleep. I'm fine, right? But as opposed to the tortoise who's not conceited, not happy with things are, and generally trying their best, right? So you look at every single day and say, do you accept today? No, I do not accept today. Like I don't accept that for myself, right? وعن أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أصر من استغفر وإن عاد في اليوم 70 مرة. رواه الترمذي وأبو داود, right? So I'm smoking, there's a cigarette in my hand, and I say astaghfirullah. I'm in a bar and I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror and I say astaghfirullah, and I walk back into the bar. No, you walk out of the bar and then you walk back in again, right? Like I'm never going to be in this place ever again in my life, right? And then you fell to temptation again, right? I'm never going to smoke ever again. Just break your cigarettes, throw them in the trash, throw them away, and then get stressed, whatever. Go back to the bottle, go back to cigarettes, go back to whatever it is. right? So the point is, as opposed to somebody who, so he returns because he didn't make a resolve not to return. Right? But again, as you mentioned, genuine resolve plus genuine actions. You got to you got to actually make actions. وعن أنس قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كل بني آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون. Right? So a big mistake then is looking at other people's sins. Right? I can't believe she did that. I can't believe he did that. Habibi, you have much worse sins. Right? You just don't notice them. Right? So people are shocked, like, oh my God, that person did that. It's like كل بني آدم خطاء. Right? I remember this. I've shared this before. There was this guy. He asked this question. He said, is there any hope in ever marrying a virgin? Given how women are these days. Right? Is there any hope in marrying a virgin given how women are these days? So number one, that's pretty negative way of looking at the whole world, right? I mean, that's pretty extreme. Number one. Number two, the way that he's thinking, right? So you say, brother, I think you've committed zina in your head many, many times, right? Right? I think you have. And in your mind, like basically, if a woman ever did that, that would be really bad, Whereas that's actually totally normal. It's not halal, but that's totally normal. So you're basically asking people to fit standards that you could never ever meet, and you're asking Allah's mercy to be more limited than it ever will be. You know what I'm saying? This is just not. You're not real on many levels, right? People do sin, including you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, inshallah, to you and to them. So just accept it, as opposed to keep trying to put people in boxes, right? And explain all your sins away for other reasons and never explain everybody else's sins away. And accept that Allah will forgive you, but never accept that Allah will forgive anybody else, right? It's pretty, it's kind of messed up, right? And then on the practical level, you're like, oh, actually, no, I really don't want to, like, I don't want to marry somebody who's ever had a boyfriend. I don't want to marry anybody who has a girlfriend. Okay, find somebody who would normally fit that picture and go and find them, right? If you really want to do that, that's fine, right? But that way of thinking is very negative, and and it's just indicative of somebody who doesn't appreciate Allah's forgiveness, you know, and doesn't appreciate Allah's power, right? You could genuinely have somebody who was like a prostitute, may Allah protect us, right? And she's made tawbah, and her tawbah is huge, and her tawbah is greater than yours, number one, so she's better than you, and number one. Number two, her her appreciation for respecting herself and respecting other people is so great that it's like felt in the way that she carries herself, in the way that she treats other people, right? And she could actually genuinely have more self-respect and respect for other people and her husband, for example, than any other woman, right? But in your mind, no, 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 she has to be punished. She has to be bad, right? In your mind, she has to suffer, right? It's almost like sadistic. And so may Allah forgive us, right? May Allah give us, these things. كل بني آدم حتى أنت يا هذا, right? Even you, خطاء, regularly sin. وخير الخطائين التوابون.
Another question.
Go ahead, Bismillah.
حديث ما أصر من استغفر ونعرف 72 مرة. Can this be a dalil for Allah accepting someone's first repentance, even if they return?
Yeah, 100%. But the point is, what people do is they say astaghfirullah, but they don't actually do iqla'. Like they don't stop. Like, dude, you got to walk out the bar. You know? If
No,
someone's
I
looking,
agree. No, I'm saying with
like
the
people they're looking at something, they're like astaghfirullah, habibi, look, turn away then, right? Don't say astaghfirullah and you don't turn away. You know?
No,
So
I
that,
agree. I was just thinking about the khilaf
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah. But it's true, yeah. But the issue is, so people they don't have, and the shurut al-tawbah are not even there. أوكي. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن المؤمن إذا أذنب كانت نكتة سوداء في قلبه. And again, أذنب is the same with anything else. So you have levels of إدبار عن الله, right? You have kufr, it's going to affect you. You have sin. You have makruh. You have the khilaf al-awla, right? So the khilaf al-awla is also the same thing. So you openly and acceptingly, you're like it's like, so what is khilaf al-awla? You know what is the right thing to do at 9:57, but you don't do it. You say, in a second, in a minute. You know that's the best thing to do, but you don't do it. Like if I asked you, what is the best thing for you to do? You'd be like this. Okay, why aren't you doing it? You know, whatever. So this is same thing. It's nukta soda, right? You make these. You actually make physical pathways in your brain. You make these physical pathways, right? To lie or to do this or do that, right? So you choose the suboptimal. Whenever you choose suboptimal, you're changing your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So no, so what's an example of khilaf of going to mukhalafat al-awla, not doing the awla, right? So I'm having coffee with my wife, okay, and I just need to go to the bathroom. I say, oh, when they come, can you just I'll ask if we get me a latte. So they come back and they got me a whatever, something else. I'm like, oh, they didn't have any lattes? I said, yeah, they did. So I said, why didn't you ask? It's like, I just didn't do that. I said, no, but why didn't I just went to the bathroom. I said, can you get me, I asked to get a latte. Like, I asked you to ask them to get me a latte. You know I like that. And you just didn't do it. Like, yeah. Like, why did you do that? For no reason. Like that's a bit odd, right? Like why did you choose something I don't like over something I do like for absolutely no reason? That's a very weird thing to do. Like that's kind of like cold. That's kind of like, what are you like upset with me? Have I done something wrong? Are you like, right? It's kind of a weird thing to do. So with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's like that. The only issue is you don't feel somebody responding to you. So you don't feel the jafa necessarily, right? Allah may or may not throw it in your face. He may punish you immediately for choosing somebody else over him. He may, if mother cat's paw, but he may not. So basically, you can continually like ignore somebody, you know? Or it's like this, like you came into the house and your brother was there and you just walked upstairs and he's like, whoa, wa alaikum salam. And you're like, yeah, salam alaikum. He's like, dude, what happened? Like, nothing. Why do you give salams? Busy. Like busy with what? You're just walking upstairs. It's like, what is it haram? I don't know. Is that haram to do that? It's just like weird. Like why would you do that? Like it's just not very nice. You know? So whenever we choose ourselves over Allah, it's the same thing. You've made this pathway. You've committed to something. You've signed off. I choose myself over Allah. Right? And it has an effect on us. May Allah forgive us, right? And that's why I continue istighfar. I don't accept the way I live today. An option came, me over Allah, I chose myself. I don't accept it. As opposed to, yeah, I accept it. إن المؤمن إذا أذنب كانت نكتة سوداء في قلبه فإن تاب from the makruh, from the khilaf al-awla, from bad attitude, from whatever it is, right? Being worried about your rizq, being discontent. I remember once, sometimes it's very difficult. Like, I remember moving my mouse or something like that, or typing the keyboard in like somewhat aggressive way. I'm like, Fareed, I know you're upset about something. I don't know what it is, but you have some kind of resentment or frustration, right? Frustration with the universe is frustration with Allah. That's called Adam Rida biqada. That's what it is, right? So Habibi, stop. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on inside you, but something's off. So you do istighfar, right? You do istighfar, right? I don't know what it is. Istighfar, right? So this is very, very important. It's the fruit of all change. Continual istighfar. I don't accept the way I am. I want to be different, as opposed to no, I'm fine, right? And then naturally, if you do istighfar and somebody insults you, how are you going to be? You don't see yourself as a good person. You don't see yourself as religious. So I say, you have very little taqwa. You're like, yeah, I know. You're very selfish. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know, like, you're not a sheikh. So yeah, I know. I'm sure I shared this with all of you before. The sheikh in the Bay Area, he's like a peer, like a Sufi sheikh, right? And what was it? His aunt comes up to him and says, I don't believe in you. I think you're a fake. He's like, yeah, I don't believe myself either. I don't believe myself either, right? That's why he's a Pete, because he doesn't believe himself, right? As opposed to somebody who's like, I'm this and I'm that and whatever. فإن تاب واستغفر سقل قلبه وإن زادت حتى تعلو قلبه, right? Continually choosing other than Allah of yourself. Continually choose the makruh. You just accept it. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with doing things that are not the best possible thing in every single second of my life. I'm okay with that, right? Which you shouldn't. There's different things in different times in your life, different ways you're going to do things. There's different ways there's different ways to follow the best possible thing. But it's not acceptable to say, oh yeah, this is the best possible thing to do, but I'm not going to do it. This is what Allah would love me to do, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do something He loves less, right? فذلكم الران الذي ذكر الله تعالى كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. رواه أحمد والترمذي وابن ماجه وقال الترمذي هذا حديث حسن صحيح. إن شاء الله stop here. My apologies, I need to stop. إن شاء الله. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
جزاكم الله خير.
بارك فيك.
جزاك الله خير.